Well, it's finally happened. Royal Caribbean finally pulled the plug on Labadee, Haiti for upcoming sailings. We're going to give you all that news and more. Let's go. Hey, what's going on, Adventure Fam? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a blessed day. And I just got off a 45-minute bike ride for my Ironman training, and it's going well. It's going well. But I wanted to bring you this news today because it's a new and the latest update for Royal Caribbean and their private destination in Labadee, Haiti. And look, just a day after Royal Caribbean has announced that they're going to cancel some shore excursions, they have now canceled all sailings to Labadee, Haiti as well for the cruises that are coming up and for the foreseeable future. So with the civil unrest that is currently going on in Haiti right now, I think we all thought that this day would eventually come. We've been following these stories all along, and just recently, yesterday, they announced that they were going to cancel shore excursions, or some excursions, I should say, in Labadee, right, for the safety of the guests. Anything that was outside of the original confines of Labadee was going to be canceled. However, just 24 hours later, they've now announced that future cruisings and future sailings to Labadee are now going to be postponed or canceled, and they are currently notifying all guests who have upcoming cruises that are going to be stopping at Labadee that they are going to be changing a course of action. So if you're not following the news of what's going on in Haiti, of which caused this issue with Royal Caribbean having to cancel all of their Labadee, Haiti stops. There's been some civil unrest over the past week in their capital of Port-au-Prince, which is about 128 miles from Labadee, about a 6-hour drive. However, there was a prison break that led to some civil unrest, 4,000 inmates that were let free, and there's some political things that are going on in Haiti, in the capital there, that people don't like, and now there's a bunch of drug lords and a bunch of just mercenaries that are kind of running the show at the moment. And so the safety of the residents and of course the tourists and things are coming to the forefront of the mind here. You know, I think Royal Caribbean has just been following this along, and even though it's about a 6-hour drive away, I think for the safety of the guests, I think they are just making the executive decision to say, look, we're not even going to go to Labadee. Even though it's a private destination about 128 miles away, it still is on the main land of Haiti. And so, and even though it's, you know, got barbed wire fence and security and things like that, it, you know, if you were to get 3,000 or 4,000, you know, inmates down in that area, I mean, the security down there is not going to be able to hold them back. And so I think just being safe and cautious is probably the move that they're playing here. So let's talk about the story a little bit and see kind of who it's going to affect and kind of how long this might be. So Liberty of the Seas was the last one to go there, and they were there March 13th. And I think they'll be the last ones there for quite some time with the civil unrest. I think there's a lot of pressure from guests and about their safety and concern. And I will tell you, even though I've been there multiple times, it kind of is an odd kind of port. And so so Liberty of the Seas, last one to be there March 13th. Let's see who else is going to be impacted. So I got my notes here. There's a lot, so I just want to kind of go over and make sure I get this information accurate. So the Oasis of the Seas, Symphony of the Seas, and Adventure of the Seas have scheduled port visits to Labadee on the 14th, 15th, and 17th respectively. So if you're sailing on the Oasis, Symphony, and Adventure, I'm sure you've already been notified. But those are the next 3 cruises that are going to be affected by this. Now, each of these cruises is already underway, but they're going to adjust their route. So I'm sure they've been notified on board that they're no longer going to stop in Labadee. Now they're going to actually go spend an extra day at sea, it looks like, instead of going to Labadee. So instead of going to another port, they're going to spend another day at sea. And I'll tell you, you know, after being to Labadee a couple of times, multiple times, a day at sea isn't that bad. I'll be honest with you. I'm not a big fan of Labadee, but so a day at sea shouldn't be all that bad. So they're going to have extra activities, games, and performances added to their daily schedules for that specific day that they're supposed to be there as well. So I'm sure the cruise directors of each of those ships is probably scrambling to put together more of a robust day of activities for those ships. Now, the other thing that they're going to be doing, because they're not going to be stopping in Labadee, is those 3 ships are actually going to be trying to stay in their ports of call a little bit longer if possible. So depending on where each ship is going, they're going to try to extend their time because they no longer have that travel time to get to Labadee. So they're going to try to extend their time to try to give guests more of an experience in those actual ports and a longer shopping time, a little bit more time for excursions, things like that, which I actually appreciate. There are some times where you go on these cruises and you do want a little bit more time in some of these ports, and sometimes these port calls are very, very short. And so I think that's pretty cool that they're going to, try to squeeze in as much time as they can at these other ports. Now, Royal Caribbean, of course, is saying this is a temporary thing. They are going to monitor the situation as the days go by. However, there are some other sailings that have been affected. So an upcoming Mariner of the Seas, upcoming Explorer of the Seas, and upcoming Grandeur of the Seas, they've all been notified as well, because their ports of call will not include Labadee moving forward either. And so those individuals, if you're sailing the Explorer, the Grandeur, or the Mariner, you've already been notified, or you should have been notified, that your sailings are going to be changed as well. So the system that Royal Caribbean is doing, they've canceled the sailings for the next 7 days, and they're going to do it on a rolling 3-day basis. So they're going to monitor the situations, and they're going to do it on a rolling 3-day notification basis. So basically, the next 7 days, nobody's going to Labadee. After that, every 3 days, they're going to monitor and let people know in advance, 3 days in advance of whether or not they're going to actually be changing their ports of call, if they're going to be going to Labadee, if they're not. And so they're going to keep a constant eye on this, constant eye on the situation. I personally, from watching the news, don't think that the situation is going to die down anytime soon. I do know the Prime Minister, the President, whatever they call that over there in Haiti, has resigned, which is what they were asking for. However, they've got to wait for a replacement to be put in place, and I don't know how their political system works. So I think Labadee is probably going to be off the books probably for a couple to 3 weeks is my guess, if not longer. But Royal Caribbean, of course, is going to monitor that situation, as will we, and we'll see kind of what happens. So anybody that booked an excursion in Labadee, all of those funds are going to be transferred back to their ship account, and they can use it for the spa, drinks, food, anything that they want. Any remaining funds that are there at the end of the sailing will be refunded to their appropriate card within 14 days of getting off the ship. So most of the time, I will tell you that you're going to probably use pretty much most of your shipboard credit, especially when you have it, right? You tend to kind of use a little bit more. But if there is a credit at the end of the cruise, they will certainly get it back on their card. But any excursion funds will be going back as shipboard credit for the duration of their cruise. Now, like I said, I think we all saw this coming. I think this is no surprise to anybody that's been following the situation. I think it was just a matter of time. Again, we've been to Labadee, and look, it's a nice enough port, but it's not somewhere that we kind of, look to go, so to speak. It's okay, but we haven't had the best experiences in Labadee. One of the things, I think it's all over YouTube, and if you talk to any vloggers and content creators, or just anybody that's been on the cruise and been to Labadee, the shops that are there, they can be very aggressive and things like that. So certainly not one of our favorite ports, but still, people that are looking forward to going to Labadee, and you always hate to see a cruise port canceled. People spend good money, going on these cruises, and they just want to have a good vacation, and they want to, experience the different ports of call. Sometimes it's their only cruise that they can have, or they saved up for a long time to be able to go on. And so it is sad for those individuals that were looking forward to it. But at the end of the day, safety is going to always come first, no matter what the cruise line is. Safety is always going to come first. And so the safety of all the guests here is what Royal is deeming the most important. And so they're trying to make right by all the guests by, obviously allowing them more time in port and other, at the other ports, and trying to do what they can to kind of ease the situation. But still stinks. I get it. But I think the safety and of all the guests, is the most important, because God forbid they actually stop at Labadee and something happens, right? Then they've got a whole nother situation on their hands, and nobody wants to see that. So let me know down below what you think of Royal canceling the stops to Labadee for now, and we'll let you know when it comes back online and they start visiting again. But let me know your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the support, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.